regular transformations. If you have any kind of transformation, if you have another table that you want to add and create like a join or something, this is all what you can do for basically for the extract and transformation and to load the data back into Dataverse table. Right, so you have full power right here to do wherever you want using Power Query. That's why one of these things that take advantage when we mention that you can in the Dataverse, you can import data from external sources, specifically if we're talking about Excel. You can either, for example, we mentioned, so let's come here and then come to the tables, and you have import data and you have import data from Excel. If you use import data from Excel, when you have Excel and you want to add the data of Excel into your Dataverse, you will not get the power of Power Query for any work of transformations that you want to do right here, an example, versus you using basically load the data option. I don't have to change anything here. I'm going to click next. And here I will come to say that what I want to do with this. So this data now, do I want to load them into a new table? Do I want to load them into an existing table that I have created in Dataverse? And then I want to just load the data. And this option we're going to actually use in the other when we import the other table, right? You can also give the table name as you want to show in Dataverse. So I can call this, for example, DV underscore Dataverse product. This is the table name, and this is the table display name. So this is the logical name. So I'm going to also call this DV underscore product, sorry. And then here you can add a description. What is this table is about, for example. And then if you have any alternate key or if you have any kind of primary keys, so I will say that what is the primary key in my case? It's actually the product ID. So I'm using unique primary column name. Do I have any alternate key? Yes, I can use actually the product key as my alternate key column, right? In this case, here also I can have the destination column type, which is basically because remember, we don't have a Dataverse table yet. So we are going to create a Dataverse table now from this Excel file table, right? The product. So what are the destination column type that I want? So for example, for the category, do I want it to be text? For the color text, you can actually select. Obviously, by you will have some kind of limitations because it will sense what type of data. If you go back here, right, you can have these basically types as you can see right here. And remember, you can actually change these types of data. For example, here, if I want to change the SKU, or I want to change, for example, the list price right here, you can select that column and you can actually change the type of this column data type, right? So I can come here and then change the type. I have decimal number. I can change it to currency, for example, if I want. I can change it to a whole number. So let's actually go ahead and change it to currency, for example, and let's see what does look like. So this is now a currency table and it's not a decimal table, right? So you can do this right here. Then I will go click next again. We only transformed one table, so we come here, we have all our information, and let's see what we have. The price, do you see what happened when I change it in the Power Query? It has been changed for me and I'm not able to change it right here anymore. Why? Because in Dataverse we have some columns we have a data type for columns called currency, and this is out of the box. You don't have to do any kind of transformations or anything. It's great if you are using or building an application or a solution that will be used globally. So you want to take into consideration the difference between the currency's values. That's when we use this data type, right? Everything else, it seems to be like it can be a text. I guess there is nothing else. Product key also is taking it a text. And the reason for that, again, if I go back here, you would ask yourself, product key is a number, right? Okay, here it's a number. When I go back to basically load the data into Dataverse, This product key now, right here, it's a text and I cannot change it. So how come it was a number and now it's a text here? The reason for that is because I have selected this column to be my alternate key in my Dataverse table. The alternate key, it's basically similarly when you are SQL assigning a column to be a foreign key or a primary key. Here I'm assigning this column to be a primary key, a, a, a primary key in my Dataverse table. The alternate key in Dataverse has to be text, cannot be a number format, cannot be a number and cannot be a date. It has to be a text format, right? Just a note to the side. And everything else can be a text. I'm saying that load to a new table. So that's mean I want you to create me a new table. Then I will click next. In the next option, there is a very important step. A lot of people sometimes miss that step and do not work with it. It's actually to send a refresh failure notification to the data flow owner, right? Specifically, if you are going to have this, for example, flow that run manually, so you run the flow and then you want to know if something failed, I want to receive an email. Also, you can actually go ahead and refresh automatically, and here you can schedule your flow to run in a certain time. So for example, I can say I want this flow to run every 1 minute. I want this flow to run every 1 day, every once a week, once a month. And I can also determine refresh on a specific days and times. For example, the frequency can be weekly on, for example, Saturday, right? If I want to, what time it can be, for example, 1 a.m. You can also do that as well. And also do not forget to click on this just in case the flow failed for any reason, you receive that email. For this use case, we are migrating data. So I don't want to run manual or sorry, automatic refresh. But in too many cases, especially if you have like continuous integration between a legacy database system and a new database system, well, in this case using Dataverse, you want to have the data up to date to be actually in this Dataverse table, and there you will use the refresh automatically options. Next things that we'll do, we'll click actually refresh or publish now. So I'm publishing the flow and you don't see anything here. But if you go back to your environment, you have here one of the options. And if you don't have them, select more, and then you can see the data flow. And you can basically pin this data flow to show in your left side panel right here. So I have the data flow. I'm going to click on my data flow for this solution. And here I will have all the data flows I have in this environment, which is Ahmed Saleh environment. So I will see all these data flows, and obviously we will find the data flow that we just published at this time in a minute. This is a developer environment, so that's why it might be a little bit slower than usual, production environments or sandbox environment. I'm using the developer plan, which is a free plan for us to learn Power Apps and everything related to it. Perfect. Now I can actually click here and sort, and I want to see if I can see my, it's right here. It's publishing now. It's a new data flow that was created on May 20th at 10:13 a.m. So it's actually publishing now, as you can see in the process. Once it's done, you can change the name of this data flow if you want to. If you want to change the name because I'm going to use this data flow again, I want to know which one is which. So I can come here and actually change the name as well. So once it's published, if there is any issue with the publishing, I will get an error right here. But once it completed successfully publishing this data flow, it will go to the next step, which is actually automatically starting refreshing. Refresh is basically extracting the data or loading the data from that Excel file into my Dataverse table. So it has been actually, oops, going back here. So it has been gonna just last published. Come on, it look like it's still refreshing. Oh no, it's right there. It's right here. So as you can see here now, it's the refresh is in progress. So it's actually refreshing. And what happened now, if I go back to my solution right here, this is my solution, and I hit refresh. Let's see what we have. Nothing yet. So once that actually data flow completed, we will have this table is generated for us right here, right? So we wait for it until the progress of refresh is completed. And if there is, again, any issues with the refresh, will also give you an error. And in most cases, these errors are very descriptive. Take your time to read through the error message so you can know exactly what might causing the error. Another way, if you have any issues with data flows and you got copy or take a screenshot of the error, go to the community and post it. But here we have finished this data flow. Now I'm going to go ahead and refresh here. Did I add it here? I think so, right? It's supposed to be here. What did we call it? So I'm going to go call tables, and I'm going to go to my custom tables. Let's search for product. Yeah, it's right here. Oh, okay. So that's, yeah, it created this outside the solution, right? This is the DV product. So that's okay. I'm going to go to back to my solution, and I can explain to you what happened here. So because actually I created the data flow inside, but this is one of the things that we're still looking for Microsoft to change in the future. When you started your data flow from inside the solution, we need an option in that data flow to pick a solution for where you can actually import, in which solution you want to import that table. Okay, to mention or to clarify this point, I'm going to go ahead and edit my data flow. And I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to just go to this last step, and I'm hoping that this something might be actually in the future, right? So if I said load reset everything here, and I have a new table, one of the options of the new tables we want to be to select a solution for where I want actually to upload this table to, right? Or to load this table to, because by default it will be loaded into the Dataverse, but it will not be part of any solution. Why this is important? Because now this table was actually imported with my default prefix, right? And we had added a prefix. So I wanted actually this prefix to be similar to what I have in that solution. We don't have this option now, but maybe in the future we'll have an option to select the solution. And based on selecting that solution, this value will change of the prefix, right? Again, nothing we will do right here. I'm going to go back to my solution, and I can import this table right here now, again, to organize my work. So I'm going to go to add existing table, and then I will select that table, look for that table. You can search for that table. It's DV underscore. And once I do that, as you can see, I have this table. I will say next. And here we have something very important. Include all objects. It's an option or optional choice. And what is this does? Let's say that this table that you have, you are importing from another solution, or you are importing from the default environment. This table has relationships and has forms. You created like custom forms, right? We said forms, we said you can create views. You created things. Do you want to include those as well? Relationship, forms, and views, or you just want the data and the schema and that's it? This is what option does. So I'm gonna select that include all object. I didn't create anything. So really, but that's completely fine. I'm going to actually import the whole table. Now I'm going to actually click here and then see the data. So I will edit in a new tab. And then here I should see all the data that has been imported from Excel, as you can see right here. And I have all these 24 columns. Obviously, you have your columns, right? Which is your custom columns, which is the columns in the Excel file table. And you have your out of the box system columns. For example, you have the modified, you have the modified columns, modified by who, modified on. You have the created on columns and created by who columns. Similarly to SharePoint, if you work SharePoint. So these are the columns that are created for you. Once you start building the app, it's also going to be filled automatically. I do not have to fill data here. I do not have to write any queries or any patch or any update functions to update the value of these system columns. We call them system columns because the values on these columns will be populated by the system. So whenever you use this table in a model-driven app or in a Canvas app, and you create a new record or update a new record or something, the system, the Dataverse understand that they need to capture who is doing that change to update this created by and modified by columns, right? Perfect. So now we have our table here. And as I said, one of the things that we did is the key, right? So we instead started a key right here because in there you can actually, in when we did the Power Query, we selected that this column would need to be a primary key. Why is the primary key is important? Bear with me because this is going to be very important question. You know why this is important? This is going to be very important part that you have to understand when you building relationship between Dataverse tables and you are loading data from external sources and you loading this data, you want to actually maintain this relationship between these tables. It is very, very important to you to use these primary keys, right? So now the next step that we are doing here is basically to import the sales order table. And I'm going to do this by, I want actually to open that Excel file. So I'm going to open my Excel file here and share it with you and to explain to you what I'm trying to do. The thing that we uploaded first, it was actually this table has the product information, product key, SKU, products, as we said, and this is our primary table or parent table. So this is a parent table. So this table will be linked to the sales data. So here in the sales data, we have the product key as a foreign key from that product table. Then we have, the order prices. We have standard price. We have also, I think, order data key. We have sales order line key and so on and so forth, right? So here, if I go and actually sort this, like, for example, ascendingly, you can see that there is certain product has been ordered certain amount of time, right? And that's just an example. It's a one-to-many relationship. So the 212 here, if you go to the product data, right? If I'm gonna go sort, this is the product. It's 212. It has been ordered this amount of time in this table. So this is a one-to-many relationship between the product data and the sales data. Is this clear at this point? I hope so, because this is very important. All right. Now, going back right here, what I want to do here, because we are using now relationship, I cannot just use come here and use import data or import data from Excel and then generate a new table as we have done. You can generate a new table if it's the one side of your relationship. That means to you can obviously do this with the mini too, but you will not be able to maintain or implement that relationship as you want it. To do that, what I will do, I will what I want to do, I will create that table right here. So I will come to tables and I will create new tables, and it's a good to show you how to create a new table. And then I will create table. In this table, I will give my table a name. I will call this table sales underscore order, right? And it's good to have naming convention that makes sense for you. And then the primary column name, and this is very important, primary column name. If you are building model-driven apps, right? In these model-driven apps, when you add the primary column name into your app or into your view or into your form, this column is usually has a hyperlink value that you can click. The primary column name, it's the user-friendly identifier that basically tell the user about that record. In our case, in this case here, what is the thing that might actually give us any kind of insight? Really, we don't have anything, so we do not care. But if we come here, for example, let's say if we are talking about sales history, in that case, it's going to be maybe it can go by the continent or go by the country or go by the region. Here in the sales data, I would like to go by the product key to basically, or maybe by the reseller, because we have a reseller data as well. I don't think, yeah, it's here. So we have the reseller information. So the reseller is right here and they have the reseller key, right? So if I'm building this table in Dataverse, I will use the reseller name as my primary name column. Going back to the Dataverse, as we said, that this column is going to be the reseller key. And actually, let me, okay, that's the column name. And then I will save. And here, the table is actually going to be created for me. Now I have the table. You can see I have 13 columns. All these are the system columns. I will go to the columns right here and then start creating those columns that I need from this Excel file right here, right? So what I want to actually create here from this sales data, I'm not going to create everything. So we don't have, that time to really, but I can, for example, I would like to create a unit price column, and I will select, because this is a price, I can go ahead and select currency as my data type, save. And then the other one I would like to get right here is going to be, okay, so we have the reseller key, and then I want to add ship date key or due date. Yeah, why not? So I'm actually here, due date, sorry, enable. So we have the due date of shipping and we have the actual shipping date. So I'm copying this and then creating a new column, and here due date key, or basically it's just the due date. I think that's right. And then here is, I'm going to just select date time, date only. And here, there is a very important property here. This one is the time zone adjustment, right? So if I want this value, this date, to always reflect the actual date, not by the user local, by the system where actually this Power Platform is, I want to use date only or time zone independent. So regardless of the zone of, or the time zone of the person who's using the application, I want to show this date as it was entered. So for example, if I enter today, May 20th of 2023, as a value in this field, and someone in another country open it at the same time where they are actually in a different time zone, so they are on May 21st, they will see the value as May 21st. But the value that I entered, it was May 20th. And this will cause by the time zone adjustment. Again, there are certain use cases that might be what exactly you want. You want to user to see the field based on their time zone, right? And this is actually, in our case, it's exactly what we need to do. We should actually leave this as user local. Let's say we have, shipping users, service users, uh, no, that's the opposite. Because if someone orders, for example, in the US, and the order was set to be due on the 25th. I don't want the customer service representative that talked to the user after 10 days in from another country talk about, like, 1 day or 2 day difference based on the time zone. So I will use this as time zone independent, and then I will save. I have this, the other column, and then we have the ship day. When is the ship day as well? So I'm going to create a new column. Also is going to be date time, date only. Come here, and I want this to be time zone independent as well. And then we have the unit price, and that's it. What else we need to do is actually how we going to link this to the other table. Remember, the product table is a one side of the relationship. The sales order table is the mini side of the relationship. And I want to link these two together. So I want to be able to click, for example, on this product, select this product to see all the orders that was placed of this product, right? So there is a relationship. So how we going to do that is creating the lookup column. When we create a lookup column, we create the lookup column in the mini side of the relationship table. So which table now is the mini side, as we know? Is it the product or sales order? Who can answer this question? Raise your hand and you will get a prize.
Sales orders.
Sales order. Thank you so much, Tarek. What are you doing here? You don't sleep?
Uh,
Good
no,
job.
it's
Yes,
only
sales.
9:46.
Yeah, okay, okay. Sales order is actually the many side of relationship. So I will come to the sales order and then I will create a new column. This column, what I should call it? This column is gonna be having the product key, right? The way I do it to make it easy for me to to write code in the Canvas app, I call it, it's actually product key, and then I use product key. I know this is a lookup column. So this product key looking into what? Looking into the product table, right? So I will just make it like this. Product underscore TBL. So that's mean I know when I see the column inside this sales order table that this is a lookup column looking into the product table. Okay. So now this is going to be a data type time. It has to be a lookup column. I'm going to select a lookup. Okay. Now I have to say to tell them what is the related table. This lookup column is looking to what? To what table? Is looking to at what? The DV underscore, and this is probably going to be under here, the logical name, obviously. Where is that table? Right here. Do you see it?
Yes.
Right. Now I selected it. Do I have any options? No. Here, I can change the schema name if I want to, the schema name of the column, right? Or I can change the relationship name. Once you create a lookup column, it will create a relationship for you automatically. And this is the relationship name. Do you want to keep it or you can change it without any problem? We're going to keep it and now save. Now we have created all the columns that we need. Again, just because of the time, we are 11 a.m. So I'm going to go ahead and sort through these columns. Again, this is the columns that I have in this sales day order. You have a lot of system columns. You have custom columns that you created. How we sort them out? If you come to the name of the column and click filter, you can actually sort them out by typing the prefix. In this case, it's going to be CR. And if I put CR, oh, sorry, it's not a CR. Okay, let's see here, clear filter. Yeah, that's great. It's actually the DV canvas because we created, remember, because we created this table inside our solution, it's actually took our prefix as the prefix name for all these objects, right? So these are our custom columns. We have a lookup and we have some date, to date, one for the due date, one for the shipping date. And then we have unit price currency. Very simple. We don't have to do anything else. And we have the reseller key to be our basically primary name column. Now we are ready. We have created the schema of the table, right? We have created the schema of the table. Now let's go, and in this case, we're going to start actually loading the data into this table. This table now, it's being created, but it's still blank. We don't have any data. To do this, I'm going to go back to my data flows right here, and I will create new data flow. I will name this data flow this time. Let's call it, it's going to be sales orders data flow. And then I will create, and then I will click on the Excel. Remember, last time when we did the first time of loading, we already uploaded this file into the cloud. So now what we can do is we can actually go and link to the file by browsing the OneDrive. So I click Browse OneDrive. And those files that you upload through the Power Query, then you will always go to this folder called Apps. By the way, I did not create this folder. It created for you once you actually do that upload. And then inside that, you have Microsoft Power Query, uploaded file, and then I have this Excel file that I uploaded today. Then I will select that, hit next. And here I have my tables again. I want the sales order. No, not the sales order. I guess it's the sales. Yeah, it's the sales table. I will transform the data. Next. I don't want to do anything else. In this way, in this place here, now we are actually loaded into an existing table because we already created that table. We are loading to an existing table. The name of the table, you have to sort out by the schema. The name of the table is the sales table. So it's going to be CR DV product. It's not that one. It's not going to be under this prefix. It's going to be under the
DB,
DV.
something like that.
Yep, perfect. That's exactly right. Where is that DV? Right here. You see it? It's right here. DV canvas. That's the table. Oops. Go again. I wish if there's a search thing here. That's one thing that we're looking for. We can get a search. Right? And now here, do I have a primary key? No, I do not have a primary key for this table. You might have, but I don't have, just a use case. And then here, the due date, then I can select the column from the source. So what is the due date? That's the due date column. Do you see this now? If you did not create an alternate key in the one side of the relationship, you will not have this table as this. Even if you have created the lookup column, creating the lookup column, it will not show you this. What is this? This is the relationship name, right? So without this, you will see the lookup column, basically a product key product as we name it. But when you load the data, it will not link the two tables as it's supposed to be. So that's why the alternate key in the parent table is very important. So here we're going to select basically our product key. And then we have the reseller key. And then we have the ship date. And then we have the unit price. And that's it. Then I hit
Does
next.
the alternate key is limited to this situation
Text
only,
only.
or it has
Yes.
many?
No. You can have text, but the value can be obviously text and numbers in that field. That's okay. But you cannot select a column that is a date type as alternate key, or you cannot select a column as a whole number or integer to be alternate key. It has to be a text. All right, now we have publish now, and now it will start working to publish this new table. And once that's done, we will be able to start building our Canvas app immediately from there. But before that, I will open any kind of questions. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask those questions. As you can see, it's working there. Sales order data flow is refreshing. I'm gonna go back to my table here. I can actually edit in a new tab, and you can see the data will start actually flowing in. Oops. Yeah, due date key. All right, the due date key is now a date format. Right, so did you see this? So when I actually imported, let's go back to the Excel file. As you can see, the ship date and the due date are not formatted as date, as numbers, right? And that's why it's giving me an error. How are we going to fix this? I'm going to actually go back to my data flow.
Yes.
I'm glad actually it did
in the
anything.
Power
I'm going to
Query.
go back, and here we're going to have to change the formatting to a date. So change type to date, replace current, and then we have the other one. We could not convert to date. Okay, delete this step again. Maybe that's not a date, I guess.
First of all, you can convert it text then to the date format.
Yeah, yes, right here. Perfect. So we are converting this to a text. And now we are coming here and convert. Can I convert both of them? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That replace current. No, it's not working. So let's actually try to not replace
Yeah,
current. I guess
yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
we can just, yeah, we
Add a
should not
new
replace
step.
it to current. Maybe we just need to, okay, let's go back to this step. Yeah, and then change this to text. And then to date, add new step.
Add new step. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was the E. So we didn't hear earlier. Yeah, that's it. Here now we have the text. Okay, now go next. It's gonna be the same thing. No, it's not gonna be the same thing. Is it the same column? Okay, let's see. Yes, it is the same column. So right here, it's the same column. Go ahead and publish again and wait for it. the ship date contain this value. Okay, let's try again. Was saved and publish. Okay, so its sales order into the ship date is not working. So let's go again and see what is the ship date is doing there. I thought we already changed it. No, we did not change the ship date. We changed the order date and the due date. We need to change the ship date. Okay, that's fine. So we don't have actually the order date. Yeah, we just need the ship date. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and try to change this to date. Yeah, probably not. We'll have to do the text thing again and then change to text and then change to date. Perfect. Now next and publish. That's why reading the error message that you get in data flows are very important. So we had order date, we had due date, we have ship date. What we are using in this example today is the due date and the order date, the due date and the shipping date. We are not using the order date, which is, I think it was a good idea to have when was the order was placed. But just, for the sake of the time, it's going to be the same process. You just add a new column and then you can actually load the data into that. So it's refreshing now. I come here and I do a refresh. If I see any data, that means it's going to work. If not, then we just wait for it to finish. And hopefully this time we'll not have any other error. Maybe you will have, again, that's how you debug one thing at a time without any problems. Any questions while this guy here refresh? If you have any questions, feel free actually to ask them now. We've been
Do
over.
we need alternate keys other than uh, mapping?
That's the only time you need alternate key, or if you want to actually make sure that no duplication in a field. For example, let's say that your end user using a Canvas app or module-driven app to enter employee ID, right? You want to make sure when they enter employee ID manually, let's say they enter it manually, that this employee ID that they enter to create a new employee, it's not being used before. If that's a case, then make that column alternate key. When they enter the employee ID, the system will check if this employee ID exists, and they will give them an error message. You cannot use this employee ID. It has been used. This is a unique identifier. It cannot have a duplicate.
Okay, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
What about when I combine two columns? We can do that, right? Up to 16 columns, we
Yes,
can combine to an alternate key.
that
So
is
what
correct.
is the scenario or purpose of that? Or why would we join two columns, or what is the scenario when
That
we
is
do
correct.
that?
That's a good question. So let's
But
say that you have a table that does not have any kind of primary one column key. So there is no one column, has no duplicates. Okay, let's say this. You have a column, you have a table for employee information. Okay,
okay,
this employee information can has, for example, department, and can has employee ID, and can has date of birth, and can has other informations. But in that table, for some reason, you can have multiple records for the same employee, and you want to initiate a primary key, no duplication based on a selection of columns, because one column always has duplicates. But if you select two columns, you will have unique value. So let's say if I select, for example, the initial salary rate of that employee and their employee ID, that will give me always a unique, because no one will have two records with the same initial price or the initial salary rate in this table. But they might have a secondary promotion salary rate, a third, or and so on and so forth, right? So when you have that case, when you have a case where one column will not give you a uniqueness in the table as a primary key, you use multiple columns to make sure that these two multiple columns will not have duplicates. That's a very good questions, Tariq. Very good questions. Because this is
So in
important
case
for
of
the login, especially if you want to build like log history data, like in a table, every time something change, you want to create a new record. This is how we use it. We use actually all the columns to be alternate key. But remember, you cannot select multiple columns where one of the columns is a date. You cannot do that. Or one of the column is a number. So even when you have selected multiple columns to form your alternate key, all those selected columns must be a text value. And hopefully this will change, because that sometimes can be a pain, because sometimes you need a date or something to change it. What I do basically, I use the formula to convert everything else to text. I convert a date to text. I convert, if I have a number, a whole number column, I convert it also to the text. And we're gonna do this real quick now after this data load here. And by the way, this is a big table, so that's why it's gonna take a lot of time. So let's refresh. Yeah, we have the data coming, but this is a big table. Okay, now let's go actually, while this guy is doing, let's start our work here. We come back to our solution and let's actually start our Canvas app. To start our Canvas app, I will come here, create an app. And what is the app is gonna, oh, this is gonna create, sorry. This, if you click create an app here, this will create a model driven app, remember. But I don't want to create a model driven app. I want to create a Canvas app. So I will come here, click new app, and then I will select Canvas app. This one is going to be order history, not history really, uh, product versus orders. That's it. Call it this way. Now we are creating our Canvas app. And this is our Canvas app right here. The first thing I want to do, I will add my data sources. So I would like to add the two tables that I'm using. The first table we are using is called DV products. The second table I'm using, it's called DV sales orders. And now what I want to do, very simple scenario, right? I want actually to add a gallery. So I will come to insert. I will type down gallery. I will select the blank vertical gallery. In this blank singular gallery, I will select the data source. It tells me that in my app, I have these two tables now I just added. You can add obviously more by using the connectors, or you search in your data source, or you can create a new table right here. The first thing I'm going to source based on is going to be the product. So I'm selecting the product. Now, everything was added here. How do I know? If I scroll down, I can see that the scroller actually is coming down right here, but I don't see anything yet. Why? Because this is a blank gallery we added. Click here and then add my first label. I clicked on the pencil. What is this? This is the product key automatically came up here. So this label is showing the product key. Okay, what else? I can actually go ahead and insert another label. And I can actually, I don't want the created on, I want to get, for example, let's say if there is a name. Okay, yeah, we have the category here. This is category. All right, so I can insert another label. And then here I want to show, do we have a name? No, we don't have a name. So dot, and let's see what we have. We have color, we have model. All right, then I can insert another label. And this time I want to show product. That's the name of the product. Yeah, do we have something else? Do we have price? List price. And then we have list price. That's it. This is everything I want. And the price. And I will just, and if you can see, I have all these products that I have right here, and new features that we have that just was published last year. Let me see what release I have. Is it 51? Yeah, it's 51. I don't think it has it. So I'm gonna go ahead and save my app, and I will get the most authoring. Anything 52 or up, you can actually see the new one. The new function is called, a long waited function is, it's gonna be the gallery dot all items count right here, which is still not working as expected. It will only show you if you scroll all the way to the bottom, all the gallery count. Just leave it here for now. Right. So one thing that I want to do here, this is a price. I want to show the user that this is a dollar amount or a price using the text function. To convert a number into anything or to convert a text to any other format, use the text function. Text function, open parentheses. I want actually the value, this show here, this number value, right, to show as a price value. So I will use this format right here, which is going to be an hash, and that's it right here. If I want to also show decimal, I can put right there, and it will show me any kind of decimal values as well, right? Because if I remove this, it will only show you the whole number. But what if the price has a decimal number? So I put dot, and then I will put show me up to 3 decimal numbers, for example, if there is any. Perfect. Now we have the price. We have, okay. The other gallery that I want, we don't need this, is to show me when I select a product from this gallery, I want to show what are the orders that being placed for this product. So this gallery now, it will show what table? The sales order table. Remember, we have already showed the build the relationship between these two tables. And here are the difference in Power FX formulas between using Dataverse tables and SharePoint versus SQL or either other data source. The Canvas app or the Power FX formula is aware. It's aware of the relationship of your Dataverse table. That's mean you don't have to filter. You don't have to use filter. Okay, let's say that these are SQL. I want to show, right? I want to show here the sales order that placed for this specific item, let's say, right? And I think we need to add something here else because we have component. Maybe we don't need component. Let's actually add. Do we have the model product key SKU? Maybe SKU. Yeah, each one has a different SKU. No, still these are the same SKUs, but they are these are two. Maybe it's different color. Yeah, yeah. I think it's the color is different. Yep. Nope. It's the same color. So what is the difference here between these two, for example? Uh, I think there is a value that, yeah, let's open the Excel. It's easy to see it here. Okay, I'm looking for the model and the subcategory. Yeah, these two are just same product, I guess. That's why. Okay, that's fine. Right. Okay, so let's here put the color. And let's imagine that this is actually SQL tables or SharePoint. So here we have the sales order, and I'm gonna start adding the labels to this one. So I will add the reseller key. And then I will add, we have also in that table, we can add sales data. We can add, um, we need this one here, the dates. Yes, let's add the dates. Yeah, and then we had here the shipping date, due date, and then I would like to add the shipping date, and that's it. Or the ship date. As you can see that this one is the due date. I can basically use, just a text here to write down due date. Okay. And then here, I would like to add that ship date. Basically, I'm just adding a text before the date. And also, as you can see here, what is this? We have actually date and time,
Hello,
right?
brother.
Value. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. The first table, can we show the column name automatically?
Can we show the column name automatically?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you mean?
The first table, column one show the value, column two also show value black, red, red, black, red, something. So if we show the column name automatically, can we show the column name automatically? It's like product debt key, sales debt key, something.
I do not understand really the question. You can search if you want to search in this
Sir,
gallery.
black, red, 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 something. This is color column. So the color word can we use show the table automatically? This is the color column.
Yes.
Yes. Can you show the column name automatically?
You show the column name.
Yeah, yeah. In
I
this
think
table,
Mr. Raso considered this table, consider this gallery as a table, and he want to show the name of
uh,
his column of this
automatically.
gallery automatically. But I think this is not possible because this is a gallery.
Yeah, this is
Uh,
the gallery. Unless you are adding, unless if you are using, for example, you can use a data table control, and it's in preview, by the way. And here you can select, for example, the products, and you can see that the columns that you add here,
Mm.
it will come for you automatically. But this is not a gallery, remember. So I can add here, for example, the color. I can add the DV products. We have the, where is it? The color. We have product key. Let's see what else we have. We have the SKU, for example. So if I add these, do you see what happened in this control? It's automatically, yes. It was added the column name automatically. But this is not a gallery, and you cannot use this as a gallery. But over there in the gallery, we add them. So
Okay,
you go
thank
ahead
you.
and add labels. Yeah, you can just go ahead and add labels and name these columns as you wish. Okay. All right. Going back to this
Okay, thank you.
here. Yeah, no problem. Here we have the due date, right? As you can see, the due date has a time. Again, another text function. to format this date into right here, and using form date time format short date, and that will fix the problem. Do you see this? Similarly here, the text function, and I want to format the date to short date only. I don't want to show the time. And then go ahead and have it. And as you can see right here. Now, in a regular way, what we will do, we know that this column here, that we have this value here, right? We have this value. And by the way, we still need another value. We need actually the product key to show the product key. So we'll come here and I will copy this and paste it again. And here I'm going to show the product key. Dot product key right here. Okay. Now, here's the magic, guys, of PowerFX being aware of the Dataverse relationship. This is my lookup column, remember? This lookup column value, it's the GUID of the related table. So that's mean when you click on dot, the lookup column value, the dot after that, it's all the fields in the parent column. Not that many. No, that's the parent column, by the way. And here I want to select the product key. Okay, so I'm going to come here and select the product key again. And let's go back to explain. In SQL and SharePoint, you have to filter this table, this gallery called gallery 1. So I have to filter this table in gallery 2. So I will come here and type filter the sales order table, the product key dot product key equal the gallery 1 dot selected dot product key. Here, this is the formula that you need to do in SharePoint and SQL. If I run the app and I select this, you see, I'm actually gonna make it clear that it's been selected here. So to do that, let's actually do a nice thing here. Just a second. We're gonna go ahead and add a checkbox just to show you that we are selecting this. This checkbox has no label. And I will leave this right here. The default value of this checkbox is going to be this item. Dot is selected. So that's mean if it's selected, make it check. Also in this gallery, I want to show there's something called template. Sorry, no, not template fill. Is it template fills? I think it's template fill. Yes, the template fill. I want to use if condition. So if this item, that's mean this specific record or whatever record is selected, that is selected is a pollen, will return true or false. So if the record is selected, then use this color dot light, for example, blue, or light blue. Else just make it transparent, and you can see here. Now what happened is I can select, and things are changing here, right here. Do you see that? So if I select the white mountain bikes, it will show me the orders, all the orders that is being used or shipped, or sorry, ordered for this specific item. That's if you're using SharePoint or SQL. So what is the difference in Dataverse? The difference in Dataverse is all what I want to show is this guy here, right? So I can just come here, and instead actually of the filter, this all what I want to show is my gallery, sorry here, my gallery dot selected dot what? The table name of the sales order. Look at this. We have actually here the table name. Where is it? Come. Do you see this? Do you see this? That's it, because
Yes.
it's aware
Yes.
of the relationship. You will see the table name as one of the properties of the selected record. So when I click this, done. Do you see the difference? You don't need filter. You don't need lookup. The selected item here dot whatever records are available in the other table. And here it show me actually, this is the product key, and then this is the due date, and this is the ship date. Come in there again. It show you everything. One line of formula, and it's aware of it without any problem. And this is the big difference between Dataverse and versus SharePoint or SQL. But remember that the relationship of Dataverse or the Power Canvas app will not handle multi-level relationships. So that's mean if you have 3 tables. So let's say that we have here the product, the sales orders, and then let's say we have a customer that is related to the sales order. So we will have, for example, a many to many, or let's say, no, a customer has multiple orders, right? So it's a one to many relationship between the orders, sales orders, and the customer. And then you have many to one between the sales orders and the product. Can I build a relationship or show the relationship between the orders, the product, and the customer directly using the dot? No, you cannot, because there is no direct relation. This is a multi-level relation. There is no direct relation between the customer table and the product. The relationship between the customer table and the product is through the sales order table. How you handle that? You will have to use the lookup. So basically, to filter, to get, for example, if I select a product, I want to see all the customers, then in that case, I will say that filter that customer gallery based on what? Based on that the orders, right, they have is equal to the selected product key. And that's how you will do the multi-level relationship query here. With this, I have we have 30 minutes. I wanted just to show you this big difference in PowerFX. If you have any questions, it's a time to ask the question now. Anyone has any question?
If you don't mind, I want a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Actually, I need to clear the primary key and alternate key and a lookup column. If you more explain about the primary key and lookup column and also alternate key, it will help me, I think.
Okay, can you rephrase the question again? So
actually, I want to know the purpose of primary key and the purpose of alternate key and also the purpose of lookup column. Why should I use those?
Okay, so alternate key, the alternate key, we use it when we want to define a primary key in Dataverse table.
Yes.
Also, if you have relationship and you are loading data from external resources, data sources, using the alternate key is mandatory for you, that when you load the data will be automatically linked to the parent table. If you don't have the alternate key, you will not be able to do that. And then you have the duplicates. You have loading the data from external source. And then what was the last question? The lookup column. The lookup column is the way that we build relationships between tables in Dataverse. So to build relationship with Dataverse, you have to build lookup columns.
So what?
That's how the system will understand that you have relationship between these two tables by the lookup columns.
Actually, for the what is the purpose of primary key? Have I need to must the primary key in my both table to make a relationship?
No, you don't need the primary key in both relations. No, relationship in Dataverse are not being used by primary keys or foreign keys. It's being used by lookup columns.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? No questions? All right, perfect. Now, we have another part that we were talking about in the agenda is actually, I'm going to talk about the formula columns. And this is a very and again, it's a new feature that we have in Dataverse. We have something called in Dataverse formula columns. Okay, so when we come here, we have these tables that we have the product and we have the sales order. What are the formula columns? So let's go actually to the product table. And let's go to our custom columns that we created. And these are the custom columns that we have created, CR60. Right? These are the custom columns. And you can see that these columns has data types, right? In one of these cases that we said that, we have, for example, the SKU, right? Or let's say we have the list price. We have the list price in this column. And I want to actually create a column that I want to use to mark up or increase the price of the listed price, right? So if we come here in our product table, I'm gonna just put the list price, let's select all list price. This is the list price that we have. And you want to add another column here to show me what if I want to increase the price by $10 for all those. Do I have to do this manually and go just, add it? No, you can use the formula columns, the new type of columns called formula, so I can do that. So what I can do, I can come here, mark up price, and I can come and use a formula. In this case, it's going to be basically the list price plus 10. So list price plus 10. That's it. And then click save. This is a calculated column that you built like this on the fly. And this is using formula FX, by the way. The same formula that we use in Power FX, you can actually use it here as well. Power FX formulas, use it to basically create the calculated. Do you see what happened? It's done. That's it. Another thing that I would like to show you, in the mini side of the relationship column table, right? You can actually create a formula column utilizing the related record data. In that case, do I have here, I just added a column here, right? The column which is the markup price, but I don't have it here now. I don't have it in my column or my table here in the many side of relationship. So I want to add a new column. I will call this also parent, and this is just a naming for you to know what I'm doing here. Let's see here. Okay, so it's gonna be parent markup price. Will be a formula, and it will have what? I'm gonna use the lookup column. Remember, the lookup column is giving you access to all the columns in the parent table. What is the name of the lookup column? This is the name of the lookup column. So I'm gonna start typing the name of the lookup column, and you can see it's coming here. Then what? Dot. Dot is showing me all the values of the related records in the parent table. And here we have the markup price that we created. That's it. Save. Now the column is going to be created right here. And if I go and I open the data in this table, let's say here, for example, we have the reseller key, and then we have the unit price, and then we have the new table that we created, which is parent. I think what do we call it? Save. I think we just need to refresh to reflect the most up current column that we just added, and then come here, and I think it was called parent. That's it. Parent markup price. Here you go. Do you see this? So that's mean if we actually, and again, if I put the I sort this by smaller to larger, you can see it's all actually the one added by 10. So the unit price was $1.33. But after we increase the price in the main product table, now we can see that this item in the sales order, the price would have been $12.29. You can mean you can actually utilize the parent related data into your formula calculation for a new calculated column in a child table, which is an amazing thing to have. All right, perfect. That's it, guys. I don't have anything else for you today. Do you have any questions?
Actually, I have a question. Can
Sure.
we use the formula the in the existing columns, or the columns that are not that are
No,
in text format?
no. So you cannot reformat a column. Like, for example, this column here, right? I cannot use a formula here to change something in this column. What you can use the formula column for is to create a new column based on the data in this table or a data from a related table.
Okay, I understand. But what if I want to add the formula in another parent table? Is it any condition that I have to use it in the child table or something like that?
If you want to
Can I?
add the formula,
can I add the formula in the parent table, which I selected uh, as a parent table when
Yeah,
I
you can
creating
look.
the
You can.
relationship?
Yeah, remember the parent table is just another table, and you can obviously go and create formula columns if you want. Yes, it has nothing to
Okay,
do. The
that's
formula column has nothing to do with the relationship, whether or not they are parent or child tables. It's a feature of a table. Each table in Dataverse, you can create calculated columns using a formula.
okay. I understand. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, no problem.
I need to be clear another terms. Actually, if I want to create a table using a column uh, in a parent table based on the child table, I want to create the new column in parent table, but I want to use the child table column. Is it possible?
No, it's not possible because in the parent table, you do not have a lookup column. So, and again, this
Okay.
is the same case is going to be if you have any other tables that they do not have relationships between them, you cannot utilize the formula column to use data from another. Like you cannot use, for example, yeah, based on filter that table. No, it has to be in the table where you have the lookup columns. That's when you can access data from other column, base from other table in your formula column. And
Okay.
because of the parent table does not have a lookup column, this parent table, if I come here in the parent table and I sort my custom columns, I don't have a lookup column here. See, I do not have it.
Okay.
The lookup
Yes.
column is in the child table. That's where we have the lookup column, which is this one here. So
Okay.
here
Got it.
you can create a calculated column that use values from the related table to this lookup.
Okay. Got it.
Mhm.
Brother, hello.
Yes, I'm here.
Imagine I have an Excel file which also has a formula generated column. Can we import that into Dataverse?
No, you cannot import Excel formulas in Dataverse. If you want to
That means I
import,
cannot.
yes, go ahead.
That means if I have a formula generated column and I cannot map that into Dataverse, right?
No, you can, because when you come to Power Query, Power Query will not see the formula behind the populations of the value. Power Query will only see the value.
No, as data type.
Exactly.
No, normal
Yeah,
data type.
exactly. So if the resulted value of your formula in Excel is text, then Power Query will see it as text. If it's a number, then Power Query will see it as a number. If it's a date, Power Query will see it as a date. But Power Query will not know what is the formula is in the backend.
But I maybe at the beginning I faced such a problem that the error was showing that your Excel files as a formula. That's why we are not. My means Dataverse does not support that yet. The Dataverse does not support formula generated column. The error
Is
was
this
showing that.
is when you added the table to the Dataverse using import data from Excel?
Maybe without creating the schema, right? Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah. So without creating the schema or without using Power Query, which is import data option, that might be the case. So that's why I recommend using the import data, using the data flow to import Excel data. Perfect. We have 15 minutes
Okay,
left.
brother.
Let me see if we have anything else here. Yeah, best practices, performance, and scalability. Uh, okay, so if talking about scalability, obviously, or performance, Utilizing two things. Do not use too many lookups columns in your app. Lookup tables, sorry. Lookup functions. Lookup functions slow down your app. For all, also slow down your app. So try to minimize those. Also, if you're talking about responsiveness, use what we call them containers when you build your controls in a screen. So here you have something called containers. So if like we have a blank screen here, I'm gonna add a horizontal containers. And these current containers are the one that cause responsiveness in your app. That's mean, and regardless of where you open the app, a tablet, or you open it in a 20-inch screen versus a laptop versus 24, different resolutions, using the container will actually change the scaling automatically for you without having to worry about the end user display. So the containers is a good place to build your stuff. So if you want to build a header, for example, here, you add a container and then you select the container. Inside the container, maybe you add a text. This text can be in the, the middle. This is going to be the middle or the header. So this is going to be my header, right? What if I want to have this in the middle right here? So to do that, you come and basically justify horizontally. So it will show us this header in the middle. You can increase the size of this. What if I want to increase actually the size of my control right here, as you can see? So you have flexible width property. So, and then flexible height as well. So we have the height here. We can also increase auto height. And then you can have, for example, this is your header, right? Now, the container itself has certain kind of property that you can play with, like, for example, the width. So the width can be actually, instead of being a static value as it's here, it can be my app dot width. So wherever the app is open in a laptop, in a screen, in a phone, or wherever, whatever the app width, it will resize the header for you, right? So that's a way to do this. So all the controls, always try to make them inside containers when you are building apps. That make a lot of responsiveness. Also try to minimize the number of using groups. So if you are using groups, it's better that you use containers other than group controls together as well. Right? Any questions about responsiveness and containers? This is a big topic. Maybe we can cover in a different workshop. But yes, container is the keyword for responsiveness when you're building Canvas app. If you don't want to have to worry about the resolution of your end user screens.
Uh, I think the container create a responsive screen for user int.
Yes, the containers will create this responsiveness for you on the end user screen. Yes, but again, setting the container, you have to make sure that you set the container to dynamically change the width and the height of the container if needed.
Okay.
Also, when you use the containers for responsiveness, there is a setting that you have to do within the display, which is actually scale to fit has to be turned off, right? So you don't want actually the app to scale to fit available space. Turn on this off will allow screens and control to fill the available space. You don't want that. You want actually this to be responsive based on the dynamic change of the width and the height of these containers. So if I play the app now, you can see I have the app right here. If I, let's say here, this is canvas size, window size, right? So it will change automatically. Also, let's say actually save this app and publish this app. But before that, I want to move this up so it can be the first screen here. And let's actually do something nice here. So I'm going to add another container. And this one also is going to be let's just this one is going to be horizontal container. I'm going to put this right here. This is my header, so I'm going to change the color of this header just to make it like header. And then the height, I'm going to add 2 containers. Oops, no, that one inside it. Okay, so I have 2 containers, right? And then this container is going to be, the width is going to be my app width. Now the design is where you are designing now. The actual width, where actually when the app is running, divided by 2, because I have 2 as again. The same thing is going to be for the other container, right? And then what about the height? I want actually the height to be my app dot height, but minus this container here, which has a fixed height. So I'm going to copy the container name and come here, and then I will say minus that container dot height. The same thing is going to be right here for this one. And here now we have the height set. I'm going to go back to the screen number 1 where I have this gallery. I will select the gallery and Control C to copy. And then I'm going to go and select this container right here, right? And then I will put Control V. What happened here, as you can see, the gallery was inserted inside the container. That's very important to know, right? Or to see. Then I'm going to go and get the other gallery, copy that gallery as well, go back to my screen, select the other container and Control V. And now I have the other container here. Now save and publish, and this should be very responsive at this point. So I'm going to actually go ahead and publish my app. Check if it's being published. Taking a minute. Okay, it's being published. Now I'm going to go to my Power App, come here, refresh. And then I will play this app in my screen here, which is a 24-inch screen. All right, do you see? Now let's select another thing here just to get some data. Where's the data? Refresh again. Yeah, development test purpose. Okay, no. Oops, this is not working. Gallery dot selected dot it is. It's not changing for some reason. Okay, that's fine. That's not the responsive part. Let's come back here. Where is it? Yeah, here. So if I actually scroll this down,
Ahmed,
see
I
what's
think the
you-
gallery names are modified, so you need to change the gallery names in the header screen in formulas.
oh really? Probably you're right.
Yes.
See
It's
this?
now 1_1.
Yeah. Okay, so let's actually close this back. You might be right. Thank you so much, Kumar. All right, so come here. This is the gallery 1-1. Okay, yes, you're right. Good debugging, man. Perfect. All right, so now I'm gonna just go back and play the app again. And a new version is here. Yes, thank you so much. It's actually publishing, so we're gonna just refresh until we see the new. And now you have this new feature here. Tell you like refresh, and then yeah, you can see that it's going to change. I just need to refresh again, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I think we need also to do something here in this responsiveness because it doesn't seem it's to be work as expected. But here, as you can see, when I change resizing my screen, everything is actually changing automatically, right, for me. Okay. But here, this is, we just need to fix this somehow. I think, yeah, I think I know what is this causing this problem. So you have the gallery, and then the gallery obviously has align container set by the container. This one also we need to align by the container. So the gallery itself, we need to align the gallery to set by the container, which in this case that my container is dynamically changing. So go ahead and save. So whatever control you put inside, it has to align also its size and positions based on that container. Publish this version. Up, it's not working yet. Yeah, I know why. Okay, go back here. Nope, not the gallery, the container. So the X of this. Okay, it's gonna be, what is this container name? So the X of this dot X plus width. Yeah, this container, it will push toward this when you have a space. So we want to have this dynamically also positioned. So playing with the X, playing with the Y, playing with the height, and playing with the width, height, X and Y. That's the key for, responsiveness dynamically. And the more that you play with it, again, keywords is everything inside container, and then make sure that the controls inside the containers are being adjusted according to the container. And playing with this, that's what will get you to responsiveness. still. Okay. Perfect. Do you see? Yeah. Perfect. All right, guys. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a quick one.
Sure.
Will you have more of these sessions coming up?
Yes, all the time. So just make sure that you are where we are. If you subscribe to this user group here, and I believe I can share that with you as well. So this is where usually I do these online sessions. This group called Memphians. So I'm gonna share the group, and you can actually sign into this group, and you will, get notifications about any upcoming events. I think we have something next weekend as well, in a different groups, but we will announce it here too as well. Okay. Also, you can definitely, if you are not connected to me in LinkedIn, because this is where I put most of my announcements, so I can share with you that as well. Yeah, so you can find me in LinkedIn as well, and you will get some kind of notifications about any kind of upcoming events similarly to this one. Also, feel free. I mean, do you guys have any? Because you guys stayed with me until the end of this, so it's up to you now to decide what do you want to see in our next session. So, what are the things that And again, you can post here in the chat uh, 2 or 3 topics, and then we will see those that are similar, and we will make one session to cover all of them. So if you have anything that you want to see in our next sessions, probably is going to be next month. I'm going to try to do this monthly. So if you have any thing that you would like us to cover, then just put it here in the chat. Nested gallery canvas app. Nice. That's a nice one. Okay. Shuhan, can you take notes of these topics, please, so we can add them to our list for the next session? So nested gallery is a nice one. Yeah, it's a nice one, and it's a beautiful one. Do you guys want to see this? I have actually the new video, and I'm not sure if you guys have
Brother,
seen this
I
before.
was wondering, if you'd also demonstrate, we all generally use the vertical gallery. Would like to also see the horizontal gallery uses.
Okay, so nested gallery in Canvas app, and then horizontal gallery. Okay, perfect. So horizontal gallery is also one of these. Similarly, I mean, it's just a different thing that you scroll horizontally instead of vertically, but we can cover that as well. Show progress bar. I'm not sure if you have seen this before. I have this. Open this in YouTube, I guess. Right here. So have you seen this before? See, I'm gonna just show you the. Okay. You see here, you can actually go select decrease the price, for example, and show a progress bar that accurately reflected the process that is being happening in the back end. So for users to not just wait, and this is not just a regular spinning bar that show what's going on and that's it. No, this is actually show you exactly how much of the task has been completed. So basically, it will not show you 100% until its RAG actually is finished. This was the last video of last week. I'm not sure if you guys watch this one, but you can definitely watch this. It has all the instruction for how we do this, but maybe we can cover this more if you want as part of our next session. I'm also actually sharing this post with you guys, and it's a good idea to subscribe here if you want to go ahead and subscribe. So I'm sending the subscriptions. You get all the new tutorials that I put there. And again, my tutorials are a little bit different than other people. Sometimes, I get feedback that to do like a whole case things. And usually what I do is if I'm working on something and that gave me like, a lot of head scratching and it bugged me and I finally figured it out, I just share that part. Like, for example, I know the progress thing was always a hustle for people if they want actually to show the actual process or progress of a certain kind of operation in the back end of a Canvas app. So when that's why I did not give like a whole use case like building table. No, no, no. Just focusing on that specific functionality. For example, my first post or my first blog post was showing you how to navigate from one Canvas app to another Canvas app without having the users to feel like they left to another tab or something. So they can click a button, go to an app, and they still feel like they're inside the Canvas app, then click the back, they go to the back one without any problem. So usually I just show that, these pain points that most of the us Power App makers, face and how to tackle them. All right, any other questions? We have passed the time, 7 minutes. So thank you so much. I will, guys. Yeah, that's YouTube. Thank you so much, so Komar. Yeah, I'm not really good in videos and things, but again, I don't think I don't think that more needed, like just to show you a use case of how you do things rather than just focusing on marketing videos and things like that. It's not really not the purpose of all this. It's just sharing with the community the knowledge, trying to help people with certain kind of pain points and things that change, all the time, evolving very fast in the Power Platform, uh, and show basically tips and tricks and things like that. So, all right, guys, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for being with me for 2.5 hours so far, or 2 hours. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, your attendance, and I will see you in the next session. Yeah, subscribe to the Memphians Power Makers, or connect with me on LinkedIn. You will get up to date, news and information about any upcoming tutorials and sessions. I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Assalamu alaikum.